My dear students, you are studying the online course on corporate tax planning. The objective of the tax planning is to minimize the tax liability in various ways within the legal framework. You know, the tax planning depends on various factors. In this module, I am going to discuss the procedure, that is how the companies design the salary structure of employee to minimize the tax bill or tax burden of both the employer and employee. If you see the salary structure of a company, you may find various components. You may find the basic pay, dearness allowance or dearness pay, allowances which are taxable or partly taxable in the hands of the employees, and the perquisites which are both taxable and non-taxable or taxable at concessional rate in the hands of the employee. Sometimes the employer may also provide or may also contribute towards the recognized provident fund. So, this is the general structure of the salary. The company, that is here the employer, usually give the emoluments or the salary or the remuneration to its employees in various ways. It always depends on the experience, the qualification, the position of the employee. So, you have to check what are the different components that a company is providing to its employees. Now, salary is being paid by the employer, here the corporate assessee. So, in the hands of the company, all the expenses relating to the salary or perquisites or allowances are allowable as deduction under section 37(1). So, company is getting the benefit towards the deduction of the salary and also the component included in the total salary, that is, I have told you the it may be allowances, it may be perquisites, so many things, it may be bonus. So, all the components, if we taken together as salary, is allowable as deduction under section 37(1) in the hands of the assessee, in the hands of the company who is paying the amount to run its business. So, the company is allowed a full deduction on account of salary, allowances, perquisites, bonus paid or payable to its employees. So, a judicious remuneration structure is to be selected by the company. Now, from company's point of view, that is from employer's point of view, we may consider the following certain items in addition to the allowances and perquisites. We know the salary includes allowances, perquisites which are allowed as deduction. Okay. Now, we may further consider certain items which may be considered at the time of determination of salary. The company may get the advantage of allowances, advantage of deduction of such items. It may be a residential accommodation. The company may provide its employees the residential accommodation. Now, the residential accommodation may be owned by the company or it may be taken on rent by the company. If the accommodation is owned by the company, the repairs, the current repairs, the insurance, the rates and taxes and depreciation will be allowed as deduction, no doubt. But if the residential accommodation is taken on rent for its employees, then the repairs, insurance, rates and taxes will be allowed as deduction together with the rent paid or payable by the company. So, residential accommodation provided to its employees, the expenses relating to the accommodation, such accommodation will be allowable as deduction in the hands of the company assessee or employer. Number 2, we may consider the company's contribution to RPF or approved superannuation fund. Any amount which is set aside and deposited in the account of the respective employee will be allowable as deduction. Which amount? The company's contribution to RPF or approved superannuation fund. Next, you may consider the payment of salaries to research personnel. In general, all salaries, whatever may be it called, all types of salaries are allowable as deduction. In addition to that, if the company runs any research activities, so for that purpose, it may appoint some personnel. So the salary payable to the personnel who is engaged exclusively for research work or research activities, such type of salaries are also allowable as deduction. Now you may consider the expenditure on family planning. Any expenditure which is incurred by the company for promoting family planning amongst its employees will be admissible. If it is capital expenditure, the entire amount will be allowed as deduction over 5 equal installments. So these are the major items which may be considered by the company for determination of a salary structure of a particular employee. But all depends on the experience, on the qualification, on the position of the respective employee, whether the residential accommodation will be provided or not, whether the company will contribute towards the RPF of the employee or not, whether the company will engage a research personnel or not, whether the company will spend any money towards family planning applicable for its employees. So the company may think whether it will spend some money or may arrange such type of expenditure, then it may get deduction in respect of its expenditures. So we have discussed in respect of the employer's point of view. So for employer's point of view, that is corporate associate's point of view, the company can think about the residential accommodation, whether it will be provided or not. And again, you may remember that a residential accommodation may be provided with furnished or unfurnished, and it will be accordingly treated. This is so far I have discussed regarding the employer's point of view. But whenever the company decides a salary structure, it must think the benefit of the employees, because employee is liable to pay tax against its salary. And we have seen that there are various components of salary structure. So for optimum combination of salary structure, one should consider the allowances and the perquisites. Allowances which are fully taxable in some cases, and some cases are partly taxable, and perquisites are also tax free. In certain cases it is taxable at concessional rate. So there should be a judicious mixture of such component, whether the allowances will be provided or the perquisites will be provided to the employees. The company has to decide the maximum benefit should go to the employee so that they can get the maximum take home salary. So optimum salary structure to be decided considering certain items depending on the allowances and the perquisites. Here I have identified certain items for your easy understanding. You may consider the medical allowances versus medical facilities. You may consider the lunch allowances and food and snacks provided during the office hours within the office premises. This is a tax-free perquisite, but lunch allowance is the taxable allowance. The company may think to provide the transport allowance or conveyance for to and fro journey from residence to office. So transport allowance is taxable to certain amount, to certain limit, but conveyance for to and fro journey from office to residence is fully tax-free. It is tax-free work visit. Again, you may consider the house rent allowances versus rent-free accommodation. Rent-free accommodation is partly taxable per visit, and house rent allowance is also partly taxable as per section 1013 subsection 1013A. So, you have to consider, again you can consider the servant allowances versus facility of watchman and gardener. Servant allowance, if it is solely for residential purpose, it is taxable if certain conditions are fulfilled, and facility of watchman and gardener is also a perquisite but taxable perquisite. So, you have to mix judiciously the various factors for determination of salary or remuneration. So, for the purpose of tax planning, say employees' remuneration is a very important area by which the company can minimize its tax liability, both in the hands of the employer, that is the company, and in the hands of the employee. I think the concept is clear to you. Thank you.